Good morning. Welcome back. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully good. Hoorah. Can't say that there's much difference on the market this morning. So that's the problem. Don't really know if I have much for you, but hey, we'll go through everything like we always do. But if we just take a quick look at the ES, can't say much has changed. Another day within the channel, or as Rod likes to say, home on the range. That's pretty much what it is. Home on the range. Vicente, buenos días. Good morning, everyone. Yesterday was a snooze fest for me. Had a few good trades, but just didn't, I guess maybe held a little too long. Held runners a little too long. Still holding Google, which I don't know. We'll see. I have 2 contracts. I'll probably just not even look at it today, but we'll see if that one wants to work out. But yeah, yesterday was a pretty good snooze fest for me. Really didn't make any money. Market barely moved again. So we'll see what happens today. Hopefully something. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone had a good day yesterday. Hopefully you're having a good morning today. Hopefully you're caffeinated. Hopefully you're ready to go, up and awake. I was up early this morning. I was up at like 6 a.m., 5:30. Yeah, still have PayPal. PayPal up 150% on those puts. I have small size, but I still like PayPal for more downside today, actually. If you look at this, PayPal, still liking this little break and retest to the downside. As long as PayPal's under that 50 or 62 area, yeah, I like it. I like it even for a flush this morning. So I'm going to watch this one. I'm probably not going to add to it, but just let it go. See what I can get on it. Still got that. But everything else, I mean, there was one key thing that happened yesterday. Very key thing that happened yesterday. And if you guys were in the Discord on the voice chat, you probably know what I'm going to talk about. And it was just something you really had to pay attention to. A key futures level that held once again. So we'll go over that. We'll talk about how the NASDAQ is still in a bullish scenario, how the market is still just sort of trading sideways, and how we need to continue to protect ourselves, right? If you're getting chopped alive in this action, if you're losing all your money in this action, you're probably just over-leveraged, maybe a little bit too antsy to enter trades. We really haven't seen anything. So when I look back, a flat day yesterday where I really don't make any money, I really don't care because I know I didn't really miss out on anything. It is what it is. When this market is sort of sideways, it can be difficult. It can definitely be difficult. You don't get those strong trending days. So a little bit of a week, a little bit of a boring week for sure. Last week, this week so far, pretty boring, but we'll continue to watch, continue to prepare ourselves, right? We have to make sure that every single morning we come into the market, we're ready to go. Any day can change. Any day there could be a big shift, and we got to be ready to strike. So we got to continue to prepare, right? We can't get lazy. Yeah. So welcome back, everyone. May 16, Tuesday. Let's get it started. 8:05. Welcome, guys. Press that like button if you could, if you want to get the likes going early morning for the stream, for the Fib Boys. The Fib Boys. Here we go. So futures economic earnings calendar. Here we go. Economic calendar. Let's pull that up. Retail sales today. And I am watching something with these retail sales, and I will show you what it is today. What is this? Compression testing machines. Interesting. Has anyone looked up compression testing machines? What is that? Anyone want that? There you go. Good ad today. So today, Fit Boys. Today is Tuesday, May 16th. Fed President Mester speaking at 8:15 in about 10 minutes. We'll see if there's any reaction there. But really, the main event today is retail sales at 8:30. So we'll see if there's any movement off that. Industrial production, capacity utilization, 9:15. Business inventories, home builder confidence at 10 a.m. And then some Fed presidents, the talking heads, start at 10 a.m. today. So we might see some movement here. Maybe retail sale gives us some. Need me one of those. Maybe the retail sales gives us something here. So we'll keep an eye on that. Tomorrow, housing starts, building permits, jobless claims Thursday, more talking heads, and then more talking heads. That's what we're going to look at. 8:30 today is really the main event. We did have Home Depot earnings last night, or this morning, I'm sorry, I think. Yeah, this morning. Let me go ahead and pull that up. So Home Depot earnings this morning. We had SE earnings this morning. Baidu, OnCloud. I wonder how they did. I love their shoes. Nothing really after hours today. Target tomorrow, TJX, Walmart, right? And so, like I said yesterday, it's really the retailers. It's the retail week. It's got retail sales today. We have some big retailers reporting. Home Depot had pretty bad earnings, had a big downside move. We have Target, TJX, Walmart, so some big retailers. That's really the theme of this week. So I would keep an eye on those retailers. I think it's probably your best opportunity to keep an eye on the retailers and to see if there's any movement on those. That's definitely what I'm watching, and there's one in particular that I like a setup on that I'm going to be watching. So Tesla, 165 demand. You guys saw that step up yesterday. Very, very important demand that stepped up again yesterday. Keep an eye on that. NVIDIA, this 280 retest on the 4-hour chart is still holding, still looks bullish to me. Meta, 236, very nice hold yesterday on Meta. Is the debt ceiling scheduled for today? Is that what that... Hold on. Okay. Yeah, that's at 3 p.m. That could definitely do something. So debt ceiling meeting today. We'll keep an eye on that. That's probably like the last, or it's at least a catalyst that's on mind for sure for the market. Google channel low, watching this today. Lulu, this is the retailer. Lululemon. Interesting weekly chart. And if there is downside on retailers, I definitely like this name. I'll show you guys the setup today. TSM, that long-term TSM idea is still working out, something I want to show you. And then Netflix at 3:30 is something to be watching as well. So got some names to watch, some decent setups, but the big thing that is still looming is that the market is still very sideways. It's still very sideways, and a lot of stocks, a lot of tech stocks are sitting right in the middle of their channel this morning in the pre-market, which sort of makes your guess as good as mine. When we're sitting right in the center of a channel, it's not going to be easy to read. You sort of have to wait for either side of the channel to hit. And that's pretty much what happened yesterday. So let's go ahead and start this up with the NASDAQ. So yesterday, we came into the day on the NASDAQ and we said, watch out for 13,350 demand and 13,500 supply. Now, you can see early morning, we got a very aggressive sell-off on the NASDAQ early morning yesterday. Where did it push right back into? It went right into 13,350 demand, right? This is our exact level that we have been watching on the NASDAQ. This is also, right, these previous highs. So if we go to the hourly chart, we can see right here, you can see previous highs, previous highs, previous lows, and look at what yesterday did, right? If you zoom in on this, you can see this hourly candle here on the NASDAQ, this hourly candle right here, a very strong hold once again of 13,350. So that was the key yesterday, right? That was about the most excitement you got yesterday. You got to push back into demand, right? You held it perfectly, absolutely perfect hold there, and then a nice grind higher the rest of the day. So that was actually a nice futures trade if you guys caught that off that 13,350 demand. Very nice hold yesterday. So where does that leave us? I still think the NASDAQ is in a bullish scenario, right? I said this yesterday. As long as the NASDAQ is above these previous highs, the NASDAQ is still in a bullish setup, right? This is still holding previous highs. We're turning previous highs into new demand, right? That is still technically bullish on the technicals. So you can see double top into a nice hold. That is a nice flip, right? If we were to inverse the NASDAQ, I would say this is bearish, right? This is the inverse of the NASDAQ. This is not the actual NASDAQ. It's the inverse. And so this is previous lows turning into rejections, right? This is the inverse NASDAQ, previous lows into rejections. So if you saw this, you'd probably watch this low, right? And if this low broke, you'd probably look for more downside, right? That is pretty much what we are seeing on the NASDAQ. Now, this is the inverse. So here's the actual NASDAQ. So you can see, right, our highs right now are 13.5, right around this 13.5 psych level. That's our short-term supply that we're watching. That continues to have a little bit of a rejection. So I'm going to turn this red so that we know that that is a potential rejection point. So that's our 13.5 level on NASDAQ, right? And this is our support down here at 13,350. And for now, we're pretty much just right in the middle. Yesterday, we moved back into that demand and pushed back into this Thursday, Friday high. So today, we have to be careful of longing up here, right? And we have to be careful of shorting down here. So today, if you trust this NASDAQ supply above, right, the risk reward is to the downside, right? That's where the risk reward is. Downside off 13.5 into 13,350 again. Now, if we get a break over 13.5, right, that might be what pushes us into that 13,550. If we can get a break and hold above 13.5, that would probably be the next move that causes upside. Now, this big red area up here, this big time red area up here that I have on my chart, it's sort of signaling me that there's a lot of rejections up there, right? What is that level? I go over this every day, but I'll go over it again. What is that level up there? If I go to the 5-year 1 day, you guys can see, and I'll zoom in here. This is the major rejection point from back in August, right? It's right between 13,550 and this 13,750. The reason I have 13,550 on my chart is because of this right here, right? This is why 13,550 is on my chart. It is the top of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rejections, right? It is the top of these 5 rejections right here. The high of this day, this was April 25th. The high is 13,549. The high of this day, 13,583. The high of this day, 13,542. The high of this day, 13,555. And the high of this day is 13,548. So pretty much all these rejections back in April of 2022 came in at 13,550, right? And that is pretty much 50 points higher from where we are right now. So that is why I have that major red box right here, because I do not want to go long into a area that we rejected 5 times back in April of 2022. Right? I need to be aware of that. So that is staying on my charts up here at 13,550. Now in the short term, right, we watch this 13.5 right here, right? 13.5 rejections. This is back on Thursday, Friday, where we had that big downside, and we are trading back into that today, right? And you can see it rejecting once again. So today we watch 13.500 and we watch 13.350. The risk reward as of right now, I would say, is to the downside, right? Doesn't mean that's going to happen, but that is where, right, you could have a positive risk reward play, right? Something like this. That's your positive risk reward play today, is to the downside, into that 13,350, if the channel remains intact. If the channel breaks today, then obviously, right, there's probably a different story. But if the channel stays intact today, like it has been for the last few weeks, right, the more the risk reward is to the downside into 13,350 again. Now, you can't marry that short, right? This is exactly what happened yesterday, probably to some short players that married their shorts, that thought they were going to catch the NASDAQ flush, right? This you cannot marry, right? If you do catch a downside move into 13,350, again, you have to be a profit taker here. If you were not a profit taker yesterday, right, this is what happens to you. This is what happens to you. This is what happens, right? So 13,350 demand, you have to respect it. All right, so it's the same thing again today, guys. Unfortunately, right, I don't have anything new and juicy to share with you. It's just the channel again, 13.5, 13,350 on the NASDAQ. We can go to the QQQ. It is really this 324 to 323 zone that continues to hold. Yesterday, we moved down into 324, held it once again. The upside supply is setting up around this 327 area. So 327, right, on the QQQ on the upside, that's your rejection area. That equals that 13,500 on the NASDAQ. And then on the downside, you got your 324, 323 zone that continues to hold. Same exact thing. If we go to the daily chart and we go to that that area that rejected, right? This is back in that April area that I was talking about. I'm actually going to put this over, right? So you can actually do this. You can go date. You can extend this to today's date. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to extend it to June 2023. I think I can. Can I extend it that way? I thought I could. June 2023. Let's see if that works. Okay, perfect. So, right, this zone here, which is that 13,550 on the NASDAQ, on the Qs, right, is 330. It's 330 on the QQQ. So if we go over and we zoom in again, hourly chart, 330 is that QQQ level that equals 13,550 on the NASDAQ. And I'll actually put this closer. So right there, right? That 330 level on the Qs is equal to this 13,550 level on the NASDAQ futures, all right? So that could be where the Qs sort of creep up to, right? That could be the creep up level that we sort of creep up to and then finally see some kind of reaction there. That's sort of what's, I'm keeping on my mind. So 330 on the Qs is that big time rejection point from back in April of last year. But right now, what are we focusing on? We are focusing on 327 right here, 327 and 324. All right. ES. This one's just ridiculous, right? This ES is getting out of control, to be quite honest. Here's your ES, and this is definitely a reason not to trade today if we just stay in here today, right? You are not missing out on much, right? Today, we are sitting at the exact middle of the channel, right? And I think the only real trade yesterday, the only real trade was either a shorted open or a long here on this 4120, right? That's really it. It's either a short up here at this channel high or a long down here. And this morning, you are sitting, for the fib boys, right at the 50% retracement of this channel. You're sitting right in the middle of it. So your guess is as good as mine this morning. For me to try to guess where this ES goes as it sits in the middle of this 4160 to 4120 channel, I have no idea, and I'm not going to pretend like I do, right? The only way you get some kind of edge today is you look for shorts here or you look for longs here, right? That is the only way you have a trade today. You either look for longs here or shorts here. That's the only two trades that I would have any confidence taking today, right? Either at channel high or channel low. If you try to get long or short right in the middle of this channel, you are pretty much just guessing which way this goes, in my opinion. At least how I trade, at least how I look at the market. If you don't agree, so be it. But for me, right, that is a guess. That is a total guess right in the middle of the channel. I need to see some kind of pop and rejection or major drop and demand hold before I feel confident, really, with the next direction on the market. So 4160, 4120, you're in the middle of the channel. Yeah, I know some of you guys are saying like lower lows, and higher lows and lower highs, sort of wedging. It is, yes, which maybe leads to that there, some kind of move coming up here, some kind of breakout of the wedge. But a wedge does not indicate a direction, right? All a wedge indicates is that there will be a move. So higher lows, lower highs, that's a wedge. That means there's pressure building, most likely. And that does not mean that it's going to go either way, right? All that means is there's probably going to be a move approaching, but you don't know the direction, which is very similar. It's the same concept of trading in the middle of a channel. You have no idea. So I would wait for one of these pushes, right? And I would look for the reverse of the trade with good risk reward. That's how I would look at this personally. Yeah, I mean, you could play off that 4135. It's there. You could play off the 4150. It's there. It's just not. I think it's just sort of short-term levels that, maybe not work. The other thing you could sort of keep an eye out for is this 20 SMA. 20 SMA sort of been grinding in the middle of this channel. Maybe that's a hold today, right? You could monitor that 20 SMA if you want on the daily chart. But, yeah. I personally feel much more comfortable, once again, here or here, right? That's where I feel comfortable. So 20 SMA right in the middle. Your guess is as good as mine. If you guys guess it right today, congratulations. You did a good job. But, I'd want to trade here. Rejections, demand. That's what I'm really looking for. SPY, same exact thing, right? 414, 4010, 409, right? Key level demand down here. Key level supply up here. And today, right, we pull out the fibs. We can see we are at just about the 50% retracement. So we are just about in the middle of this channel on the SPY. You got the 20 SMA sort of grinding below, holding this up a little bit. I would look for this, or I would look for this. those would be the trades that I would take. Longs, shorts, that's what I would look for until that channel breaks. All right. If we get a hold above 414, right, then things change. If we get a hold below 410, maybe, then things change. But, until then, channel 414, 410, 409, that's what I would be watching. If I zoom out, you guys can see just in sort of ranging. If I go to the daily chart, there's your daily chart. All right, here's your daily candles over the last 5-6 trading days. A lot of wicks, right? A lot of wicks on the downside, which is a little bit resembling of bullish, right? Definitely a lot of wicks down there. If you guys look at this daily chart, all right, you can see these wicks back to the upside off this 409, 410. Big wick up, big wick up, big wick up, and big wick up. So that's not bad, right? That's a decent watch. You can sort of monitor those wicks. The ES is similar, not really. The ES sort of has wicks on both sides. But yeah, I mean, overall, just a total mess. Yes, I agree. Total mess. Watch 414, watch 409. That's what I'd watch on the SPY. All right. Dow Jones, probably a little bit weak today because of Home Depot. And the Dow Jones is remaining under 33,500, right? Remember we talked about that level? See that rejection off 33.5 yesterday? Major rejection off of it. That 33.5 is going to be very important on the Dow. 4-hour chart, you guys can see right here, 33.5, 33.5, 33.5 rejections. So keep an eye on that 33.5 on the Dow. Russell, absolutely doing nothing. Totally sideways. If you go to the daily chart on this one, this is even more of a mess than the SPY. Russell is completely sideways. You guys could probably sell some premium on the Russell if there's any left. So, yeah, 1730, 1820, totally sideways on the Russell. All right, I got nothing. That's really all I got for you on the futures. All we can do is trade the channel. Nothing has changed. I have no new updates. You're just sort of sitting right there. Let's see if retail sales does something for us today. Tesla. I like this hold, right? This is a pretty bullish hold on Tesla. I know Tesla seems very weak right now, but I would not turn a blind eye to this 165 hold, right? This is still a very potential break and retest. This is really the first retest of the breakout, right? This is finally, like we always say, there will always be a retest, right? If you chase Tesla here because you don't believe in the retest, you just have to chase something when it's going up, right? This is where you believe, right? You see for yourself that there was always a retest, right? So this was the breakout right here of this 165, right? You can see right here, this 165 double top, triple top right there. You had the breakout, right? But you never had a strong retest. You never pulled back to that breakout point. Well, yesterday you did, right? And it was right here. And it was right here, right? Yesterday you pulled back, you hit this triple top, you turned it into a major support. You can see the push off that level, and you're holding above it now. So, yes, Tesla has seemed weak, but do I think that Tesla could build off this retest? Absolutely, right? That is totally possible. I've seen that countless times in this market. I've seen countless times where previous triple tops turn into demand, and you start to curl off of it. So, I'm not going to be opposed to looking for that Tesla upside off 165. All right, I know Tesla's seen a little bit of weakness. I know it seems pretty weak lately. I've seen the price action. I know it doesn't look very sexy, but I would for sure not be a short seller into 165. That's for sure, right? I would definitely not be a short seller into 165. You can see the reaction yesterday, right? Look at 165 yesterday. Look what they did. They faked. This is all trapped shorts right here. All these shorts that got short under 165 yesterday after this major downside candle, right? This is a FOMO candle, right? FOMO candle. Oh my God, I need to get short because it's dying. And then bam, right? And then from that point, 165, you had a pretty big rally off that level. So 165 is definitely not a level that I feel comfortable at all shorting into. I already can see that. And I'm going to be more interested in potentially going long off of it. Now, of course, I want to see the NASDAQ strong. I'm not going to go long Tesla if the NASDAQ's breaking down, if the market's tanking. That's not, that's not what we're going to do here. But if the market does show some upside, if we do see some continuation, right, this is a potential area that you could long off of with risk reward. So watching that 165 on Tesla today, that's really what I wanted to go over on Tesla. Keep an eye on that 165. NVIDIA, really sexy break and retest here as well. I mean, if you zoom out on the 4-hour chart, just take a look at how clean this is, right? This is very clean. You can see right here, previous double top, and it's maintaining above that level, right? This is a very clean break and hold of a previous rejection point. You can see it right here, right? Very clean. Previous high, turning into support, You got the 20 SMA curling up as well, holding that. So I think NVIDIA still has strength here, right? You still can't really get that short NVIDIA. You could try to short the top of the channel today, right? That is a possibility. If there is market weakness, you could try to short the top of this channel at 290. If I go to the 15-minute, actually 30-minute, and I zoom in here, right? You could try to play the short off 290. It's very possible. If you do get some market weakness, right, risk reward is there for sure, right? You would stop out maybe over 292. You could stop out over 291, 290, however much you want to risk, right? And you're looking for that downside back into the channel low. Risk reward makes sense, right? That's for sure. You can see right there. 290 rejected on Thursday of last week. It rejected Wednesday of last week. It rejected Tuesday of last week. And it rejected Monday of last week. So every day of last week, you had a rejection at 290, 292. Could that happen again? Absolutely. But again, you can't marry that short because you can see the demand here. You can see the demand that stepped up yesterday. So 290, 280, 10-point range, play the range. I would not long into these levels. You have to think about, right? You have to think about, did I miss the trade? And think about the people that made money yesterday off 280 that are going to be taking profits into you buying, right? So if you went long off demand like you should have, yesterday, I'm not saying I did. I'm just saying if you were a trader that went long off 280 yesterday, this is the move that you want, right? That is it. Your trade is complete. That is the trade you are looking for. And now I am going to be taking profits at 290 because I'm not going to hope and pray that we break out, right? I was just looking for a little channel low to channel high demand hold and a nice scalp to the upside. Now, if you start to go long here, right, you are going to buy into people taking profits and you're going to buy into people doing the right thing, which is most likely a rejection of 290, right? So just keep an eye on that channel. Think about how it works. Retail sales. Do we get a little movement? Let's see. Can we get a little life? I just want life, man. I don't care which way it is. Retail sales increased 0.4 in April. Estimation. Okay, so it was down. So retail sales down about half of the estimated. So that's bad for retailers. So let's see if there's any movement on the retail names right now off that. Target. So Target sort of moving lower. Home Depot, Walmart. Yeah, Walmart's getting a little hit off that. What are some other retailers you guys want me to check out? What's Shop doing on that? Yeah, Shop's breaking down a little bit on that. Baba, and wasn't really sort of Chinese market. Not much movement on Amazon. Yeah, and heavy retailer retail earnings this week as well. So this is interesting. This is sort of why I think you have to watch the retailers this week. Yeah, what's Costco doing? Costco, the bid is at $4.99, but not much movement there. Costco doesn't really move pre-market. Ulta doesn't really move pre-market as well. So you probably won't see much pre-market movement on those two. All right. So Walmart's really the one that's sort of, you can't see that, can you? Moving down a little bit. SPY, back to the SPY. A little bit, not much of anything. I mean, a little this, little that. That's really all you're seeing here. Unless you're zooming in like this, right? Unless this is your chart. I know this is some people's chart out there. Oh my God. We're tanking. Yeah, nothing. Little this, little that. Retail sales number is half of the estimation, though, which is not great. Half of estimation. Core was in line. Year over year, 1.6. Wow, year over year is much further, much down. 1.6 versus 4.2 expected. Yeah, year over year is much lower. And now you're sort of reversing. So I don't think you're going to do much on this. We'll see what happens. All right, so retail sales, not the event that will take us out of this range, unfortunately, even though I really, really want us to. Yeah, Costco, not much movement on that PIF. It won't really move pre-market. All right, let's continue. Let's go Meta. Meta. This was a nice hold yesterday, right? We talked about this hold. This was the exact hold we talked about in the live stream yesterday. We said if Meta can hold over 236, it could lead to more upside. So we had that nice curl at 230, right? Very strong demand. We were above 236 yesterday. And if we go to the 5-minute chart, right, look at this 236 hold that came in yesterday, right? This is yesterday's action. You can see right here, 236 held very nicely, and you can see that upside push. So nice little trade there if you caught it. 236 demand hold, turning that previous rejection into a support. Nice little upside there. Do I think there's much more here? Not quite. What I would be watching on Meta is possibly a push into 242, but I would be very cautious longing Meta at 242, right? You can see right here, rejections here, support here, rejections here at 242. I would not want to be a long at 242, right? I would either look for another pullback to 236 for another long opportunity here, or I would look for the short side play at 242. If you get that move into 242, I'd look for shorts here, or I'd look for longs here, right? So 242, 236, that's the area I'd watch on Meta, but I just wanted to show you guys how that sort of worked out yesterday. Nice 236 hold again, and a nice upside move. So look for 236 again today. If we do get downside in the market, see what happens at this 236 again. That could be another key play, a key level to play off of. Google, I am in some Google puts, and the reason I held this yesterday, right, and this sort of goes, this is, I don't think there's anything wrong with what I did, because typically I would say, don't hold shorts down here, but here's the reason I'm doing it, right? The reason I am holding shorts, the reason why I'm comfortable in shorts on Google into this demand low is because that I bought them at 119 yesterday, right? If you guys were in the live trading yesterday, we started to see these rejections come in towards this 119 level, and we were entering puts at pretty much high of day yesterday. And I held it all day. I did not sell my position. I scaled out some, but I just maintained a position all day. Google just never showed me a reason to exit put options yesterday, right? All day, we just grinded lower and lower and lower. So I never saw anything that was like a bottom that caused new highs, right? I never saw anything that said, okay, maybe this is reversing. It was just a grind to the downside. So I was okay holding my runners. I knew I had a really good entry up around 118.70s, I think is where I started to enter. Traded this live with the group. So congrats if you guys caught this one. And I'm okay holding it into demand because I know that I've locked in majority of my profit. And I know that if it does reverse off this level, right, I'll give back some profits. Everything will be okay. But, right, I'm human, just like you guys are, right? And I can't help but try to go for this type of move, right? I can't help myself with money I can afford to risk and try to catch this move right here in this gap, right? I'm human at the end of the day as well. And when I see a gap like that, I definitely want to try to make money there. And you can see this is Google without the after hours action. And you can see this area here should be pretty juicy on Google under this 116.50. So I'm going to look for it today, right? We'll see if it sets up. Google is moving down a little bit in the pre-market. but I need to see it break 116.50. If it can break that 116.50, then I think we could possibly get, right, this pretty aggressive downside move in this area here. So definitely targeting that. Yesterday, you guys saw it open. What happened? At 116.50. So if I go to the 1 minute chart, look at the 116.50 hold yesterday morning on Google, right? It was literally right at open. So we gapped down at open. We started the day at 116.50 and just rocketed straight up. So there's definitely some demand down here. You can see it stepping in again right now, right? It's stepping in again. So we'll see what happens. But watch 116.50 on Google here. What the hell is that? Oh, that's because it wasn't. Oh, never mind. That's weird. That's very weird. That totally got me. So I thought this was the pre-market here. This is not the pre-market. So if I put that back on, it's not bouncing right now actually. So sorry about that. This is actually what it's doing in the pre-market, and you can see it looks pretty weak into that. So let's see. Let's see what happens there. All right. Let's continue. Woo-woo. Whoops. Woo-woo. All right. So this is interesting. I am definitely interested in playing a swing put option on Lulu. Now, this is the type of play that I would buy, and I would totally accept any loss. I would not walk away from this trade with any type of emotion or any type of regret in losing in this trade, right? Not at all. There is no regret in taking a trade like this and losing money. This is a trade which aligns with everything that you could possibly align and possibly get confirmation with. There's always going to be that little level of uncertainty. There's always going to be the unknown. But this looks like a great setup that I'm probably going to take today if I see weakness on retailers, right? This is just a perfect area to potentially set up a short, in my opinion. 380, right? You have rejected this level 1, 2, 3, 4 times. It was also a support here. It was also a support here, right? And I can't help but look at this and say, hey, if I set up a short up here and I go with what the market has done the last 4 times at this level, it rejected, it rejected, it rejected, it rejected, it rejected. There was one time right here that it popped above. And this was in 2020. This was in 2021. And the 2021 market is much different than the 2023 market. So I don't even put much weight in this breakout because this is 2021 when the market was pretty much just going straight up. So in the 2023 market, and if retail sales are a little bit lower than expected, I would sort of expect Lulu to see some weakness here. So I'm probably going to take this trade. I can clearly see the reason for it. I just wanted to share it with you guys. We'll see what happens. TSM. This is very interesting as well. TSM daily chart. You guys can see it right here. TSM has sort of been flagging to the downside. You have this little downtrend here that's been forming. A little bull flag to the downside. Right back into this previous high. We've been talking about this level for like a week now. 2 weeks on this live stream. And this could be setting up. This could absolutely be setting up, right? I'm not ready to take it because I see a lot of weakness still in this name. 86 is still rejecting as well, which I want to see us get over. I want to see us over 86 before taking this trade. 86 is this previous low here that I think can still reject. So if we do get a move over 86, I might be more interested. But if we go to this weekly chart, right, we can see this is a little weekly chart hold. You can see this previous high right here that is now turning into 4 weeks of a hold, right? 1 hold this week. Week 2, nice hold. Week 3, nice hold. Week 4, the beginning of week 4, we've pushed to the upside, right? That's the beginning of week 4. that we have had a nice start Monday morning push to the upside. Is this the week that this flag breaks out on the weekly chart? Interesting, right? Very interesting. Definitely a watch. I think TSM is a name that should move higher with semiconductors because TSM really is the behemoth of semiconductors. They really are the people that make the semiconductors. So, yeah, definitely watching this one. I might even try to, if I see this over 86, I might grab it, right? Yeah, I don't want to miss this like AMD, right? We called this out on AMD perfectly. It's the same exact setup, right? So definitely watching this one. I think it's still a watch. You guys just have to take it on your own, take it, as you please. Just have your risk reward in place. All right. Netflix. I mean, you can definitely see the rejections, right, at 346. That's very clear. That was a very nice supply rejection. I actually took a part of this, but I didn't hold it as much as I should have on Friday of last week. Friday of last week, there was a very clean rejection of this level and a very nice downside and continuation yesterday. Where do I think Netflix can go? I think Netflix probably looks to retest 330 at this point. You either get a retest at 330 or you try to regain these previous highs around 336. So you're either looking at 336 here, right, on a little bit of a push above and a hold back above 336 for more upside, or, right, you are looking for a move back to 330 and seeing what happens there. I would be more comfortable waiting to see Netflix at 330. That's also the 20 SMA right there, and that would be a nice retest of that previous breakout point, right? Breakout, it held it here. Let's see if we can pull back to that 330 and hold it once again. That is something I'll be watching. That is also the previous high right here, which could turn into a nice support hold again on Netflix at 330. So watching that 330 on Netflix, very nice rejection of that 346, right? No surprises there. That is a previous low, previous high, right? That's a perfect previous support into rejections, That's just textbook technical analysis. All right. So 346 supply, I'd look for that 330 demand to step up. All righty. Take a second. And press the like button. All right? Take a second and press the like button. Let's get 1,000 likes. Let's look at AMD. So, AMD, nothing, right? I would look for supply rejections here, and I'd look for demand here, right? Supply here, demand here. Push to 99.50 for downside. Downside move to 94 for upside, right? Either here or here. So, that's what I'd watch on AMD. Really nothing there. It's right in the middle of the channel. Microsoft, I have no idea what Microsoft is going to do, guys. I've seen a lot of people ask about Microsoft. Guys, look at Microsoft. What's happening here? Nothing. All right, it's a bunch of nothing. So I haven't even looked at Microsoft this week. All right, it's not doing anything. It's not moving with the market. It's just completely, I don't know what's going on with this name here, to be quite honest. It's a mess. So I'd stay away from Microsoft until that makes a move. Boeing, sideways, there is absolutely no way you can tell what Boeing does here. It's right in the middle of this channel. It's been up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down for like the last 6 trading days. Yeah, no idea. Not near any key levels, right? Where was the place to play Boeing? Here or here, right? Where do you trade a stock like this? You trade it at the channel high or you trade it at the channel low, right? Apple. I like this 174 rejection for Apple. It's still there, right? And why is that rejecting? Well, if we go out, right, you can see right here. This is a pretty major level for Apple. Continues to be, right? You can see this, all this supply up here on Apple. If I go back over, you can see rejections, and you're sitting right in it again. If we go to the 30-minute chart, though, right, what is it doing? Are you going to go short here and then see this happen? Are you going to go long here and then see this happen? Right? There's no way to play Apple until it either demand holds 171, rejects 174, or breaks and holds under 171, or breaks and holds over 174, right? You cannot trade stocks that are not at key levels, right? This is something that Carmine says all the time. If you guys are, if you watch Carmine's videos, invest to trade, you have to take trades at key levels. You have to take your trades at key levels. This is your key level, right? This is where it found demand. This is where it found demand. So you take your trade at key levels. You start to watch what happens at key levels. If you start to see a demand hold at 171, you go long. If you start to see 171 turn into rejections, you go short. That's where you have your edge, right? Because you know you can play off 171. You know that if you're wrong, you know that if you go short here and it gets back above 171, you stop out. You know that if you go long here and it breaks below 171, you stop out, right? At least you have an idea of where you're going to structure your trade. If you go long at 171.76, where are you stopping out, right? Are you stopping out up at 174, right? There's no risk reward there. If you go short here, if you go long here and it goes under 171, right, you're risking too much. Sure, you can stop out under 171, but you're risking too much. If you go long here, if you go short here and this thing just pops in the middle of this channel, right, where's your stop loss, right? So I would not play any stock that is in the middle of a channel. I would continue to look. This is an exact example on Amazon, right? This is not a trade. This is where you need to wait, right? This is your key level. This is your key level. You play at 109.70, 110, or you play at 112, right? Apple is the same thing. It's right in the middle of the channel. There's some other name that I was looking at this morning. AMD, right? Look at AMD. It's right in the middle of a channel. Where's your edge here? You got to play it here or you got to play it here. I think that is boring, right? What I'm advising you to do is boring because you're not going to be able to get in and out of positions all day, but that is what will keep you alive, in my opinion. NASDAQ is rejecting this high very nicely right now. Very nice supply coming in. Looks good. ES, a little bit of downside. What's Google doing? Oh, baby. All right. Is this the day we get the drop on Google? Let's see what happens, man. All right, guys. If you could, press that like button. That would be very much appreciated of you. I would be very much appreciative of you for doing that. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you learned something. I hope you are getting the hang of things. I hope that your time here, you start to learn, I hope you're building, those building blocks. I hope you feel like you're getting somewhere. If you're a newer trader, I hope coming here is helping your daily routine. If it is, I'd love your support on the channel because that means a lot. It helps grow the channel. It helps me keep me motivated, right? The motivation definitely is a big thing, and you guys being here definitely keeps me motivated. So thank you guys again. I hope you have a fantastic day. Be safe out there. Watch those supply and demand levels on the futures. Make sure to structure your trades off of them. Don't trade in the middle of a channel where you have no edge. Make sure you have a level that you're trading off of. Make sure you have a plan that you're trading with. If I get long here, my stop is here. If I get short here, my stop is here. If you guys are in the Discord and you trade live with me every day, every single time I take a trade, I know exactly where my stop loss is. Every time. I will never enter a trade without knowing exactly where my stop loss is. You have to know that. You have to protect yourself at the end of the day. You have to stay alive. You can't learn to trade if you lose all your money in 10 days. If you blow up your account in 30 days and you say, F this, trading is too hard. Why? Because you gave yourself 30 days of time to learn. It's not going to happen. Stay in the game, break even, lose small, gain education. That's the way you have to do it. Keep it going. Stay motivated. Keep going. And hopefully I can help you along that journey. Thank you again. Press the like button. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Peace out.